Yep. So we'll discuss the questions, and you'll have approximately 3 minutes per question to solve, and then we'll be discussing the solution of that. Okay. So let's start with the first question. Yep. Can you just take 3 minutes and solve this, please? Yep. So what is the correct answer for this question? Yep. The correct answer for this question is 36 minutes. So let us just see whether it's 36 or 56, because some of you give 56 as the answer. Let me solve this. There might be a typo error also here. Yeah. So let us first look at the question. So it says two motorboats A and B are traveling to and fro in a moving river. So the minute I read this question, I know this question is coming from the topic called boats and streams. Okay. So in still water, the speed of the motorboat A is 50% more than the speed of motorboat B. Now 50% more, 50% is 1 by 2. Clear? So since I do not want fractions here, what I would do is, let's say A and B, I would assume the speed of B as 2x, let's say kilometers an hour. So speed of A is 50% more. 50% more I know has to be 3x. So the speed of A and speed of B in still water becomes 2x and 3x. Okay. So to cover d kilometers to and fro, motorboat A takes 20 minutes less than motorboat B. So let's just go ahead on the same lines. The time taken by motorboat A, how do I frame my equation? So time taken by motorboat A is nothing but 20 minutes less. Since we are talking about kilometers and kilometers an hour, I would say 20 by 60 less. Okay. So here, what do I get? Time taken by motorboat A to go d kilometers and come back d kilometers, right? So time taken by motorboat A. Let me, so d. So one way the motorboat will go downstream. Okay. And while coming back, if it comes back, I mean, if it's going downstream, it's coming back upstream. So it won't make too much of a difference here. So this is 3x minus s is equal to time taken by motorboat B. Time taken by motorboat B becomes d divided by 2x plus s plus d divided by 2x minus s. And I'm taking 20 minutes less, that is 20 by 60. This is the first equation that I have. Now, instead, if motorboat A covers 2d kilometers to and fro. So to cover 2d kilometers to and fro, this becomes 2d divided by 3x plus s plus 2d divided by 3x minus s is equal to, what is it equal to, guys? So it says that it is further 16 minutes more, that is plus 16 by 60, more than the time taken by motorboat B to cover d kilometers. So d divided by 2x plus s plus d divided by 2x minus s. Sounds a very weird equation. Doesn't make a difference. The question is asking you how much time does motorboat A take to cover d kilometers. Okay, so let me do one thing, guys. Since a lot of things are common, let me assume this whole thing as A. So can I say I'm supposed to calculate the value of A here, guys? Is this point clear with all of us? So I'm taking this as A and I am taking this as B. So can I write my first equation as A is equal to B minus 1 by 3 or B minus 20 by 60? Let's write in minutes only. B minus 20. Let's cancel 60 on both the sides. Doesn't make a difference, don't worry. Clear? Now, if d by 3x plus s, so can I just observe here, guys? Can I write this part as 2a? Please let me know if you have a doubt. Because this can be written as 2 common d divided by 3x plus s plus again d divided by 3x minus s. And we know that d, this whole thing we have assumed as a. So I get 2a is equal to, this remains as b only. Clear? B plus 16. And we need the value of a here, guys. So that's my answer. Minus, minus, minus. B gets cancelled. So you get a minus a is equal to minus 36. Or the value of a is equal to 36 minutes. And that's going to be your answer. Any doubts here, guys? So we had... Yep, let's see this question. It's again a very easy question. I don't think so. The answer is a very small number. So let's see, in how many ways can a teacher create 4 teams of 2 students each out of 10 students to compete against each other in a quiz competition? A very beautiful question. So first things first, so how does the thought process develop? So first things first, I have a group of 10. So I need to select 8 out of 10, right? because I need 4 groups of 2 each. So if I need to select 8 out of 10, I know that can be done in how many ways, guys? 10C, 8 ways. So now I have 8 children with me. Okay. Now what do I do from here? I need to group them. Do you remember the case of grouping, guys? Now grouping is different. So I have 8 people, that is 8 factorial. Each is supposed to be divided into a groups of 2. Clear? Either you go by this concept, if you remember the shortcuts from our concept videos, into 2 factorial, into 2 factorial. Or you can also use the concept called 8C2 in the first group, into second C2 in the second group, into 4C2 in the third group, into 2C2 in the fourth group, which will give you this only. Now, if you remember this concept, we also discussed, are the groups distinct? Are the groups distinct? Am I naming the groups? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. No, I'm not naming the groups, right? So what did we discuss? If the groups are not distinct, the third step is divide by 4 factorial, because I have 4 groups which are non-identifiable, right? So therefore, your final answer, if I combine all the 3, I am first choosing 8 students. Then I'm dividing them into groups of 2 each. So 8 factorial by 2 factorial whole to the power 4. Now, since the groups are not identifiable, I have to again further divide by 4 factorial. So this becomes your final answer. So if you've got this on your notes, 4725 should be your final answer. Any doubts here? The scores are 0 after 2 questions, right? Let's move to the third one. Yeah, let's hope you get this correct. Yep, so let's see this question, guys. So this question says, if initially there are n bacteria, their number grows to 3n plus 8. So there's a very important catch here, okay? So initial number of bacteria, okay? If initial there are n, then the final value, okay? Final value after growth becomes 3n plus 8. Okay, so can I say the growth is in terms of 2n plus 8? So if I look at the growth rate, can I say it is twice the initial number of bacteria plus 8? Can I say this, guys? Perfect. So this I'm taking time as my 1 second. Okay. Now, at the end of first second, I have these many bacteriums. Okay. So I have 3n plus 8 bacteriums. Now, what is the relationship that we discussed? Twice the initial plus 8, right? So for the second, the growth part will be 2 times of 3n plus 8 within brackets plus 8. So this happens how much, guys? So 2 3s are, the growth factor is 6n. 2 8s are 16, 16 plus 8 is 24. So plus 24. This is the growth, and these were initial. So can I say final? So my final is going to be initial plus growth because nobody is dying. So 3n plus 6n, my final value becomes 9n, and 8 plus 24, my final value becomes 32. Okay. So when I move to the third second, now I have 9n plus 32 bacteria. Now 2 times of 9n will give me 18n. 2 32 is 64. 64 plus 8. So understand this, guys. I'm just writing it here. This is 9n plus 32 plus 8. So 232 is 64. 64 plus 8 will be 72. So 18n plus 72. If you add them, you get 27n plus 104. Clear? Now if I go to the fourth second, clear? The fourth second game is going to be 27n plus 104. And now I double it. So 2 into 27 becomes 54n. Into 2 is 208. 208 plus 8 is going to be 216. So my final value becomes how much, guys? So this is 81n plus 104 plus 216 is going to be how much, guys? 320. Clear? Now the question says that if this is going on for 10 seconds, okay, it is known that no bacterium dies in first 10 seconds. So the number of bacteria born in the 5th second is this much, okay? So I need to go to the 5th second also. So I had 81n plus 320 The question is asking you number of bacteria born. So this is what we need to calculate. Okay. So 2 into 81, let's be very careful. It's 162. And 2 into 320 is 640. 640 plus 8 becomes 648. So the question says if 162n plus 648 is equal to 8748. Do not forget the question is asking you the number of bacteria which were born. So these many were born. So the question is asking you the value of 2n plus 8. And if you observe, right, if you divide everything by 81, then you get your answer, guys. So 81 by 160, 162 by 81 is 2n, 648 by 81 is also 8. So all you need is a value of this. So 81 ones are 81, and then we have how much? 64. So it's 0 and 648. So 81 8s are 648. So the calculation also becomes very easy. So your final value is going to be 108. So 108 bacteria were born in the first second. Is this point clear? Yep. Now remember one thing, guys. If there are n people which have to be arranged in a circular fashion, okay. If there are n people which have to be arranged in a circular fashion, then the number of ways in which I can arrange them in a circular fashion is always n minus 1 factorial ways. Okay. Because when I go to a circular arrangement, I do not know which is my starting point and which is my ending point. So to fix a place, let's say I fix this place. So this becomes my starting point. So if I have to arrange 6 people, I have to first fix one person. Right? So this will give me the direction. Acha, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'll start arranging, right? So if there are 5 people, then this can the first person has the first position has to be fixed. And with respect to this position only, I'll start arranging the other terms, right? So therefore, n things in a circular fashion will always be n minus 1 factorial ways. Now, in how many ways can 13 individuals sit if out of the 12 students, no two boys and no two girls are sitting together? Okay. So let's say I'm first say in a circular fashion, whenever I say no two boys or no two girls, you only get a standard rule called alternate arrangements. Okay. Reason being, when you have a linear fashion, let's say arrange 1, 2, 3, 4. So this place is also considered and this place is also considered. If you remember, no two boys are together. We discussed the number of places created is one more. Right. But when you go in a circular fashion, you don't get this extra space available. Right. So alternate arrangement is the only way to go when you're going with circular fashion. So let's assume I'm arranging 6 boys first. So 6 boys can be arranged in circular fashion in 5 factorial ways. Now, the minute I'm arranging 6 boys, I will have 6 places. In those 6 places, I'll arrange 6 girls in 6 factorial ways. Right? Now, if 12 people are sitting, there will be 12 places. Out of 12 places, I can choose any one place for the teacher to sit. So this becomes our answer, guys. Is this clear? So you get this as 5 factorial into 6 factorial into 12. Now I can break this 12 as 6 into 2. Ketan, I have to arrange the teacher also, Ketan. 13 individuals kadana, no? The teacher can sit anywhere. The only condition is no two boys and no two girls have to be together. So this 12 can be written as 2 into 6. So if I borrow this 6 here, 6 into 5 factorial will become 6 factorial. 6 factorial into 6 factorial, 6 factorial square into 2 becomes your final answer. Am I clear here, guys? So let's move to the next one, please. So you have 2 minutes to solve this question. Let's see how many of you can score this question. Very late answers, guys. Quick. They should not have taken Shivesh. No. Not no Ranjit. Yep, time up, guys. So you'll not be given any marks if you have not answered by now. So let's discuss this. So now the question is that A, B, and C can individually complete a job in 20, 30, and 40 days. This question would not have taken so much of time, guys. So if you go into the standardized form method that we discussed in the concept classes, so let me assume my total work as an LCM of 20, 30, and 40. That's going to be how much, guys? That's going to be 120. So take 120, this becomes 6, 4, and 3. Now let's go the number time lock here. What does the question talk about? Initially, A starts working alone and completes 10% of the work, which means A would complete 12 units of work all alone. So if A's efficiency is 6, the number of days taken by A is going to be 12 by 6, that is 2. Clear? Now B joins him. So now A and B are working together. Now A and B work for 3 more days. So in 3 days, if you observe, A and B can together complete 10 units. So in 3 days, they will complete 10 into 3, that is 30 units of work. Okay, so 12 plus 30, so 42 units are done. Now the remaining work is done by C alone. So C would do how much? 8. 42 plus 8 is 50. 50 plus 70 is 120. So C would do 78 units alone. And the efficiency of C is 3 units per day. So therefore, the number of days taken by C alone would be 26. And that is going to be your answer. So how many days would C alone take to complete the job? C would take 26 days to complete the job. So this becomes a very easy question to look at as compared to the ones that we have seen so far. So Ajit opening his mark finally. Prithvi, not bad. Good one that was. Shreya, I'm sorry. The first answer would be considered. Yep, now when we are looking at 60, the highest power of 60 in 500 factorial, so we have a method to calculate the highest power of a prime number in a factorial. Okay. So our job is to see what are the prime factors of 60. So I know 60 is 4 into 15. So 4 can be written as 2 square and 15 can be written as 3 into 5. So I need to see what is the maximum power that a combination of these three would give us. Had it just been 2, 3 and 5, the job would have been easy. I need to see what is the highest power of a 2 square also. So let's find the highest power of 2 first. The highest power of 2 in 500 factorial will be you start dividing 500 by 2, right? So 500 by 2 is 250. I'll start counting 250. Now 250 by 2 I know is 125. So we'll add up 125 also. Now 125 by 2, I'm only looking at quotient, that is 62. So this becomes 62. And then again 2 into 31. So this will be 31. And then again 2 into 15. So this becomes 15. And then again I go with 2 sevens, so this becomes 7. And then again I go with 2 threes, and then I go with 2 ones. So this is going to be 3 and this is going to be 1. So what's the final answer there? This is 5 plus 2 is 7, 8, 8 plus 5 is 13, 20, 24, 4 I carry 2. So 2 plus 5 is 7, 7 plus 2 is 9, 9 plus 6 is 15, 15 plus 4 is 19, 9 I carry 1. So it's 494. So I get this as 2 to the power 494, but I do not want 2 to the power. I want a power of 2 square. So power of 2 square is going to be how much, guys? Power of 2 square is going to be 247. This is the maximum power of 2 square, okay? So we'll write all the powers here and then we'll see what is the maximum that I can get. Now if I have to check between 3 and 5, we know in a factorial, the highest power of 5 will definitely be less than the highest power of 3. Okay, so let's not check for 3. Right, so let's directly check it for 5. So the highest power of 5 in a 500 factorial is, let's start dividing by 5. So this is 500, sir. This is going to be 5 into 20. So 100 plus 20. And this is going to be 5 into 4. So I get 5 to the power 124. And 3 will definitely be more than the 5s. Right. So if you observe, the highest power of 4 is 247. The highest power of 5 is 124. And since we want a common power, we'll look at the least number between both of them. So I can say that the highest power of 60 in a 500 factorial is going to be 124. Clear, guys? Any doubts here? Quick responses, please. Perfect. Let's move to the next one, please. So 124 is the right answer. Yeah. Can we get the answer for this question, please? Yeah, let's look at this question, guys. So, an elevator can carry a maximum of 750 kgs of weight. The first two persons to enter the elevator were of 83 and 72, which means I have 155 available with me. So, out of 750, I have two people already there, right? So, if my total number of people are n, right? So, out of that, 750 minus 155 is gone. So, I already have two people available. So 750 minus 150 is 600. 600 minus 5 is going to be 595. Okay. If the least weight of any person in the elevator can be 48, find the maximum number of people that the elevator could have accommodated. If I want the number of people to be maximum, right, then I have to assume that all of them have the least possible weights. Number two, the question did not talk about whether the weights are same or different, which gives us the flexibility to assume that all of them are of equal weights, right? So if each of them is of equal weight, right? And since we're talking about number of people, so let me write it as if each one of them is 48, 48 into n minus 2 should be less than or equal to 595. N minus 2, why? Because I'm assuming that two people are already here, right? So the remaining people will be n minus 2, which means n minus 2 should be less than or equal to 595 by 48. So 48 ones are 48. I'm having how much, guys? 115. Clear? So what next? Can I go with 48 into 2? 48 2s are 12. So 12 point something. 42 is 96, sorry. 48 3s will be 120 something, right? So 96, so 12 point something. I know that for sure. So if n minus 2 is less than equal to 12 point something and n should be an integer, so I can say n minus 2 is equal to 12. If n minus 2 is equal to 12, the value of n is equal to 14. So only if you are answering option C, you are correct. And that is going to be a final answer. Clear, guys? So keep on adding this to your score. Let's move to the next question, please. Yeah, can we take this question, please? Yep. So finally, certain answers here, guys. Let's see this. So what does this question talk about? This question says 34 percentage people out of 250 percentage people take tuition for Sanskrit. 30% of take tuition only for Marathi. So we can understand that this question is coming from a Venn diagram based question. Okay. So it says 35 take only for Marathi and mathematics. What percentage of students are taking only mathematics? So three set Venn diagram. Assume all the 250 take at least one of the three subjects. So we know one more thing, that there is no student which takes none of the subjects. Okay. So if I draw my 3-set Venn diagram and I talk about Sanskrit, I talk about Marathi, and I talk about maths. Okay. So 34 out of 250. So 25. So what is 34% of 250, guys? 34% of 250. I can rather do this as 25 into 30 is 75. 750. 25 into 4 is 100. 850. That's 8,500 by 100, which will be 800. So 85. Okay. Now we have 85 here. 30% take only for Marathi. So 30% of 250, which means 75 take only Marathi. 35 people take Marathi and mathematics only, but not Sanskrit. That is 35 here. Right? What percentage of students take only mathematics? Assuming that you have a total of 250 students. Okay. Now, a beautiful way of doing this here, guys, is look at it. Can I say this complete part? Okay. Can I say this complete part shaded in yellow is 85? Right? I know that A, let's say B, C, D, and E, and we need the value of E here. Okay. So now if you look at it, A plus B plus C plus D plus 75 plus 35 plus E is equal to 250. Okay. Now I know that A plus B plus C plus D that we got here is 85 plus 75 plus 35 plus E is equal to 250. So 75 plus 35 is how much, guys? That's 110. Okay. So 110 plus 85 is 195. So can I say the value of E is going to be how much, guys? The value of E is going to be 55. And the question asking you 55 is what percentage of 250? So 55 by 250 into 100. This is 25 tens and this is 25 into 4. Clear? 4 into 55 is how much, guys? 220. 220 by 10. The final value is going to be 22%. Clear? So if it's 22%, then that's going to be your final answer. Clear? Can I move forward, guys? Perfect. So keep on adding the score to yourself. Yeah. Can we just solve one more question here, please? Yes, Chandan, you can consider that, no problem. But before I give the answer,
okay, there is a chance of having 1 to 7 to your grandmother. Okay, then this the relationship between them and you is cannot be. Yes, in a family, you will be only having these. Other than this, you will not be having any other things. So if my father's brother's wife's sibling will be no way related. In a family, you will be having these. Clear? Yes. So this is another form of okay. Now here we will be having some problems. Yes, water is B, C is water is B. Then we have taken these two problems, C and D. Find one response. Okay, two responses. C, three responses. Already five. So C. Right, C should be the answer. Yes. So this type of we are given if A part is do we know the gender of B? A part is B. Do we know the gender of B? Yes.
Okay, let's discuss this, guys. It's a very easy question. I do not know why is it taking so much of time. Let's see. Okay, geometry is more about taking the hints from the question. Okay, so it says two chords A and B of equal length intersect each other at right angles. Okay, at a point T. In the figure, if the radius of the circle is 17, so we know that if there is a chord called AB, and if this is my center of the circle, if I drop a perpendicular from the center of the circle to the chord, it bisects my chord. Okay, so I do not know the length of these two sides, but let's see. And the length of both the chords is 30. So I know perfectly that D is 30 and AB is also 30. So if it bisects, so I can say that this part is equal to 15, right? And this complete part in red is 15. Okay. Now, the question is asked the area of AEC. So if the question is asking me the area of AEC, now understand, guys, to get the area of AEC, I want this. So half, that's a right angle triangle we know. That's half into AE into EC is what I want. Okay. Now let's see how do we get AE from here. Let me term this as the center of the circle and let me term this as a point F. So can I say that the value AE will be equal to AF plus FE? And I know the value of AF is 15. That is a perpendicular drop from the center of the circle. Okay. Now, look at this point also, guys. So if I just join these 2 points, OA is my radius. So if this becomes 17, I know the hypotenuse is 17, the base is 15. So if you know the Pythagorean triplets, so OF would become 8 here. Is this point clear? Right, now if OF is 8, I can say OF is the distance of the chord from the center of the circle. Now with the property of circles, we know equal chords are equidistant from the center. So I can say this distance is also equal to 8. And this would always be a perpendicular distance. Not only this is perpendicular, this is perpendicular. So these 4 sides are perpendicular. With 2 adjacent sides being equal, can I name this figure, or can I say that this figure is nothing but the square? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. If this is a square, so all the sides are equal. So this is also 8 and this is also 8. Clear? So AF plus FE would be nothing but 23. Okay. Now this is 8. I know from O, let's say I'm naming this as G. So OG is a perpendicular drop from the center of the circle, which again bisects the chord. So can I say DG will be DC divided by 2? Because this will be the center of the circle bisecting the chord. So this part becomes 15. Is this point clear? So this is 15 and this is 8. I know DC is 30. So 15 plus 8 is 23. So the side EC would be nothing but 7. And therefore the area of the circle would be half into 23 into 7. So that's going to be how much, guys? 161 by 2, and that's going to be 80.5. Chandan, your answer will not be considered. Clear, guys? So that's going to be your final answer, and I doubt anybody was able to solve. So let's look at one more question, then we'll wind up a bit early today, and then we'll continue the remaining ones in the next class. So let's look at a last question. Yeah, one more geometry-based question, guys. So just take 2 minutes. Let's discuss this. So in this says angle B is a right angle. Okay, so if I understand, this is my right angle. Now AB is parallel to ED. So if it's parallel, we can, for our understanding's sake, extend. I mean, I would always do this. Okay, so if they are parallel, I would always extend to understand by there are two transversals. Okay, so I have AB as a transversal coming up. Okay, and do not forget that your AE is also a transversal. So the two transversals available for you. Okay, so and then it says D is the midpoint. Okay, so this side is equal to this side. Now understand, if this is if AD is a transversal, can I say these are my alternate angles? So if this angle is equal to x, then this angle is also equal to x. Okay, then it says AC bisects angle BAE. So if AC bisects angle BAE, that means these two angles are equal. If these two angles are equal, I would say this angle is equal to x. Okay. Now it says that if BAE, so BAE, this whole thing is 2x, is twice of AED. So 2x is equal to twice of angle E, which means angle E is also equal to x. So if these three angles are same, that means I can say it's an equilateral triangle. So each angle is a 60 degrees, 60 degrees, and 60 degrees. Clear? And now I have this is 60, this is 90. So this triangle becomes 30 degrees. Right? So now can we say we go ahead with it? So if you need not assume, Shivesh, you are given it's an equilateral triangle. You cannot always assume it's an equilateral triangle. So if the angles are in the ratio of 30, 60, 90, then the sides, if the angles are in the ratio of 1 is to 2 is to 3, the sides are in the ratio of 1 is to root 3 is to 2. Clear? So opposite to 30 is 6, right? Which means opposite to 60 would be how much, guys? 6 root 3. Clear? If this is 6 root 3, I'm sorry, this is 6 root 3. Okay, then AC will be 12. I repeat, AC is equal to 12. If AC is equal to 12, then this part is equal to 6 and this part is equal to 6. If this is equal to 6, this is an equilateral triangle. So this part is also equal to 6, 6. Now the question is asking us find the area of the diagram below. So I can say that the area of the diagram is going to be area of the equilateral triangle AED plus area of the right angle triangle ABC. So equilateral triangle is going to be root 3 by 4 into A square. That's going to be 6 square. And triangle ABC would be half into base into height. So simplify this and get your answer, guys. So after simplifying, your right answer is going to be option A should be your final answer. You can cancel 2's from both ends. So this is going to be 2 3's are. And this is going to be how much, guys? 36. So 4 9's are. So we have 9 root 3 plus 3 into 6. That's going to be 18 root 3. So 9 root 3 plus 18 root 3. Your answer is going to be 27 root 3, which is going to be option A. Clear, guys? So let's stop here. Right, and so you